Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again. We are discussing the different aspects of organizational communication or say communication. So, let us proceed. In the process of communication, we can find several models of communication. Model is a diagrammatic representation of process or some activity. As we know that communication is also a process or an activity. So there are some models of communication also. There are actually several models of communication, but we shall here mention only the most popular models of communication. So some of the popular models are Aristotelian model of communication, Shannon's model of communication, Scram's interactive model of communication, Barlow Essentier model of communication, Dan's helical spring model of communication, Sawtooth model of communication, Baker's mosaic model of communication, interactive model of communication, multidimensional model of communication, holographic model of communication, interactive model of communication, intermediary model of communication, fractal model of communication, holographic model of communication, and so on. Now it will be our interesting matter to know about the history of communication. Communication has a very long past or evolution. Human communication was revolutionized by speech around 2 lakhs years ago. Symbols were developed 30,000 years ago, and writing was developed about 7,000 years ago. From that, communication has undergone a long changes. During the time of kings and emperors, they have also used different communication modes. Some of them are paper writing, signal processing, pigeon post, signal lamp, flag, charcoal, picture, metal impression, leaf painting, dark harkara, and so on. Right now, communication has undergone a vast improvement. At present, different latest technologies are used for this communication process. For example, 4G technologies, even right now, some countries are using 5G also, wireless phone, telecommunication, optical fiber, video conference, Skype, and other things are available for communication. Now, friends, let us move to the purposes of communication. Organizational communication serves a lot of purposes. Some of the major purposes that communication serves are informing employees about the organization, to pass order, instruction, then to get the employee interest about the organization and the job, to express management interest on the employees, to utilize manpower for the betterment of the organization, to select, develop, and appraise the employees for the organizational purpose, to control and evaluate the performance of the workforce, to lead, direct, and motivate the employees. These are some of the common purposes of organizational communication. There are some more, lots of purposes. Now, let us proceed to the nature of communication. Organizational communication has some distinct characteristics. These features are as follows. Communication needs at least two persons. One person cannot do communication. Next, it is a two-way traffic. Sender and receiver. Sender sends the information and the receiver sends the feedback. Next, the purpose of communication is to create understanding among people. Next, communication may be of several forms. For example, order, instruction, grievance, application, suggestion, report, and so on. Then the next feature is communication is seen at all levels of the organizations. It may be upper level, middle level, lower level, everywhere. Then communication is universal activity. It is present in all the organizations, irrespective of its size, nature, and function. Next, communication is a continuous process. There cannot be interruption in the communication process for a while also. Next features is communication gets response and feedback. Until that, it is incomplete. Now friends, we are discussing a very crucial factor about the communication. When the communication is disturbed by some of the causes and the related effectiveness is less, then these are called as barriers of communication or obstacles of communication. These are the negative parts of communication. And when these barriers are removed and the related communication is smooth, then it is called as effective communication. It is our duty to identify the barriers and remove the barriers. Now friends, let us mention some of the barriers of communication. There are more than 40 or 50 type of barriers of communication. Some of the significant barriers are, for example, language related barriers between the sender and the receiver, emotional barrier, emotional mismatch of the sender and the receiver, psychological barrier or psychological mismatch between the sender and the receiver, organizational structure or organizational policy related barriers. This is from the house of management. Then personal barriers, difference of personal opinion. Next, expenditure related barriers. Next, awareness related barriers. Sometimes the employees are not aware about how to communicate. Next, one-way communication. One-way communication means monologue. It is incomplete and it is without response. Then, slow speed of communication when it takes additional time. Next, poor work condition or poor physical condition of people while doing communication. Next barrier is rumor. That is a dangerous thing. It is the untrue statement which spreads very quickly. Next, status related barriers or barrier due to status difference among people. Next, evaluation related barriers, when the receiver evaluates the message in wrong way or different way. Next, expression related barriers, when the sender expresses the message in different way or wrong way. Next, lack of interest of people to communicate. Then, not proper attitude to communicate. These are some of the major barriers of communication. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is our duty to remove or minimize the barriers so that the barriers are not available and the communication is effective. So, what is the way? There are some ways to maintain the effectiveness and remove the barriers, such as we may follow certain principles of communication. What are the principles? The principles are principles of integrity, the principle of formality and informality, the principle of attention, the principle of clarity, the principle of objective, the principle of understanding the receiver, the principle of consistency, the principle of completeness, the principle of communication network, the principle of feedback. These are some of the principles. Additionally, we can maintain 7C and 4S of communication to make it proper. The 7C of communication are completeness, consideration, conciseness, clarity, concreteness, courtesy, and correctness. The 4S of communication are shortness, simplicity, strength, and sincerity. Now, let us move to the direction of communication. The direction of communication may be either vertical or horizontal or diagonal. Vertical communication is the communication which is conducted between the people of different hierarchy or different levels. It is again subdivided into upward communication and downward communication. Downward communication is the communication which comes from top to bottom. For example, the superior is giving instruction to the subordinate. Then upward communication. Upward communication is just the opposite. It comes from bottom to top. When the subordinate reports to the superior, this is upward communication. Then horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is conducted between the people of same level or same hierarchy. For example, marketing manager is talking to the HR manager. Both are managers, same level. Or the area sales manager of West Bengal is talking to the area sales manager of Jharkhand. Then diagonal communication. Diagonal communication means which is neither vertical nor horizontal. This is just like this. The people of different department and different hierarchy, when they talk, this is diagonal communication. Suppose this is marketing officer, this is marketing manager, this is human resource officer, this is human resource manager. When marketing officer is talking to the human resource manager, or when the HR officer is talking to the marketing manager, these are the diagonal communication. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed our discussion. I think I have given some overview of the basic concepts of communication and organizational communication. So if you are benefited and if you have enjoyed, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for having your patience. Have a good day.